This is Jeremy Wentworth-Stanley. I'm the fellow who has a hyphen in my name. The hyphen is silent, but I am anything but that. Respectonomics is bringing you the fourth episode of Living Journey. And Living Journey is a 7-8 part platform that is designed to help you and me in our journey of life. The way we've put this together is to look at the journey of life that each of us has and think in terms of the destination that we have, and not only the destination, but also think of the tools that we need to get there. Before we do that, I need to tell you that we're at a crossroads ourselves in this living journey with Respectonomics. My name is Jeremy Wentworth-Stanley. I am your voice of Respectonomics and your year. And the truth of the matter is we've got around 300 podcasts now that are on the Respectonomics platform. And they're basically designed to help people understand their dignity, to reinforce their dignity, their sense of self-worth and their value. At the proverbial counter level, we get a lot of affirmation. From the listening audience, we frankly do not seem to be catching much wind, much traction, or what you would actually call much response, which leads to two things. One is that the message is not adequate empirically or philosophically. But there's another part to it as well. And my thinking is that it's almost like the audience has seen 7/8 of the movie, hasn't seen the last eighth, and until it's seen the ending, really isn't in a position to comment or to be able to ruminate and to be able to reflect on its meaning. I'd like to do this now with the living journey where we are at the moment. And I'll very quickly explain that we are using the living journey in the way that we throw light onto the journey so we can see where we're going. That seems reasonable. Respectonomics takes that same light and refracts it. That means it's divided out. And the word that comes to mind is the prism, because if you put light through a prism, it produces these different subtexts of light and different colors. And you may remember from your school days, red, orange, yellow, blue, indigo, and violet. And what we've done is to say that if the individual casts their light through this prism of Respectonomics, then each of those colors represents things, areas in our lives that we can build on and we can talk about. The R stands for respect, O is openness, the Y is you, the G is growth, the B is building, the I is identity, and the V is victory. And what we've done is we've looked at so far at the concepts of respect and openness. This one that we're talking about, this is episode number 4, deals with you, the Y-O-U, the Y that actually theoretically would be the yellow color. But it's midway in our prism, in our spectrum, and it is you. The principle, the theory behind the Respectonomics or behind Living Journey is that it is all about you. But if I'm going to talk about you, we need to divide you into its own component parts. And you is made up of 3 parts. Every human being is a you. Every human being is made up of these 3 issues, these 3 subtexts, these 3 aspects to life. They mirror a computer. I don't know if you think about a computer for a minute, you think about a computer has hardware, it has software, and it has an operating system. and you need to bring the three together to get all the bells and whistles of running your computer. The human being is made up of three parts as well. There's the body, the main frame, if you will, or the hardware. We have the human body, we have the human mind, which is the software, and we have the human soul. Now, I said earlier that it sounded like we were putting seven-eighths of the movie up, but hadn't come up with the eighth part of it. And I want, rather than getting into seven-eighths or six-eighths, five-eighths or four-eighths, I want to give you this particular viewpoint, perspective. You, in terms of your life's journey, depend on other people. The body needs another body. The human being is based on a gregarious philosophy or a gregarious platform that one human being needs another. That's why we find that when human beings come together, you have this neural activity, which means that one human being says to the other something, the other one reads something into what is said. But not only what is said does he read or she read, we also pick up on these neural signals. I'll give you a good example. If you go to a party and you have a wonderful time, and then somebody says to you afterwards, "What did you talk about?" The classic answer is, "Well, I don't know. I can't remember what we talked about." And that's okay, because what in fact was happening is the neural activity was where the strength of the communication was taking place. So we respond to one another. We might move an arm, we might flick an eye, we might touch our ear, whatever it is we do. These are all signals that we don't even know we're giving, we don't even know that we're receiving. But the truth of the matter is they are part of this neural connection. So there's the body. And the first thing is that in life's journey, when we talk about you as the human being, the first thing we have to recognize is the importance of one body interacting with another body. And the reason that's so important today, it sounds almost like, well, yes, that's true. But in the world of screens and remote access, even this presentation, which is being done through, Zooms and audio files and so on, lacks this body to body connection. We need body to body connection. And that's one of the reasons that we believe at Respectonomics that the greatest benefit that we can achieve from this process of restoring dignity is when we have people talking with people. In other words, Respectonomics is physically in your presence. Workshops, presentations, lectures, after dinner speeches. But we need this body to body contact. And the less we have of body to body contact, the less neural activity will take place. And it's like a muscle, it will atrophy. And we will start losing the real creed of humanity. Then there's the mind, the software. And one mind needs to work with another. Minds do not need to be in conflict with another. The word I love is conversation, because in conversation, what happens is you are communicating with another person. You are taking the which is the idea of togetherness with another individual, and changing or exchanging ideas. If we get into this idea that we have a priority of importance, that my ideas are more important than yours, we will not get very far. When we exchange ideas one with another. And the way to do that is when somebody states an opinion that frankly, you don't agree with, you don't like, it might even be abhorrent to you. But when that happens, one of the ways to sort of root it out and to find out more about it is to say, you obviously have a reason for saying that. Do you mind if I ask you what your reason is? You say that with some degree of conviction. May I ask what's behind that conviction? But when we introduce that idea of asking what the other person is thinking, it's like testing software. Think of it when somebody else has another opinion. All you're going to do is to test it and to see if it's valid and whether it ties into or reinforces your own position. The answer is that the human being does very well body to body, and the human being does very well mind to mind. So we have the body and the mind. And now we come to the issue of the soul. And before we go any further, most people almost want to say the soul is private. And you're absolutely right. The soul is your domain. And it is, in fact, willed by you in terms of how you allocate your soul, how you distribute it, how you work it. It's one of the most exciting parts of the human being. It's the one thing that differentiates us from probably every other animal and plant life, is that we can consider our soul, we can reflect on it, we can enjoy it. But think about what the soul is for a minute. It's extremely private. It's indivisible. Nobody can break it down. You can break somebody's body, you can break somebody's mind, actually, but you can't break my soul. You cannot do that. My soul is mine, it's indestructible, indivisible, and it belongs to me. Or to be more accurately, in your case, it belongs to you. So your soul is this incredibly valuable jewel that we each have. People sort of think about their souls and say, but isn't that taking us into the world of religion? No, we're not into politicizing the soul, which is what religion will do. What we're doing is taking this beautiful jewel and seeing what is the value of this jewel to our bodily and mental processes. And here's the point, that the soul is really the source of light. When we talk about putting light into our lives, what we're really saying is letting our soul lighten where we are, who we are, where we're going, and so on. But when we do that, it's very quiet, it's very reflective and very beautiful. It's tranquil. And when we allow the soul to do that, we have to stop in our tracks, because if the soul is producing light, then by every law of physics and anything you can think of, if you have light, you need energy. If you go into nature and you say, look, it's light outside, then you would actually say, well, either because somebody's turned a switch on and there's a bulb, or you would say more, hopefully more, gosh, the sun's out. There is a source of energy that produces light. So what we need to find out is, if I'm going to will my soul to be the light to my life, where does the energy for my soul come from? And that is the crucial question in your journey, is to investigate and to disclose to yourself, not to me, not to the world necessarily, but to yourself, to disclose what is the source of your energy that turns on that light. That source of energy is conveniently called faith. It means, in other words, we're putting our trust in something we can't see. Where, humanly speaking, we just love to be able to put our fingers on numbers and formulae and all kinds of things to say that's specifically what it is. Well, the soul is a bit like electricity. It's very powerful, but you can't see it, and it's extremely hard to define. It's like trying to define the wind. You know it, you feel it, you see it, but you cannot say that you can actually put it into a box and give it a sort of formulaic construction. So all this amounts to is considering your soul, considering it as a source of energy, is very valuable to understanding how you want your journey to proceed. But why this gets so exciting is this. When you allow the light of your soul to light in your life, what happens is that the soul then becomes the almost like a navigator, and it starts showing you things that you didn't even know you had yourself. You know, we've often, as people have said to us, do you realize you can do something? And sometimes that's helpful, sometimes it's a put down, sometimes it's an uplift. But whatever it is, there's one other part to the soul. It's when the soul says to you, do you realize that you have this talent, you have this skill, you have this aptitude, you have this ability? It's very enabling. And all we have to do to put this enabling process into work, it's like the chain on your bicycle. That chain will turn and link the wheels and the energy and makes the bicycle go. So What we do is we turn to the soul and we turn the light on. And when we turn the light on, we then say to ourselves, well, we need the energy to keep this light going. We can't just flick it on and off all the time. So we want to have the energy. The energy is our faith. And when we develop our faith, we have myriad ways of developing faith. Faith is a wonderful gift. It's being given to every single human being. The question is, how do you distribute that faith? Do you put your faith in trees? Do you put your faith in nature? Do you put your faith in the sun? Do you put your faith in the creed of God? Do you believe in Muhammad? Do you put your creed in Jesus Christ? This is your personal discovery. This isn't a discovery that I have to make for you. This is your discovery. You turn on the light, you look for the energy, you turn to your faith, and you find out what is the best source of energy, what is the best faith that will bring you to the point where the light will shine brightly in your life. You see, if we can shine light brightly into our lives, we can then be that light bulb that never goes out. I think it's Energizer that says it goes on and on and on, the battery. We can be the same. When we have our souls alight, we find new energy, we find new outlooks on life, we can find enormous pleasure in things that are just so close to home. But this is all within your own orbit. Let me come you back to respectonomics. Respectonomics is only the prism. The light is the light that you shine that comes out of your soul, that comes out of your faith. That's the formula. That's the equation. Now, I want to hear back from you. I want to know whether you believe that this is the light that lightens your life. I want you to tell us, do you find that the energy that is created in your soul is the great unraveling? It's the one that opens up your own dictionary of your capacity, that you have these incredible talents and these incredible skills that somehow get dulled and somehow get, buried and camouflaged and overwhelmed by the world. No, the soul is way bigger than the world, and it is a soul that is just, I'm going to say itching, but is just waiting to be filled. It is a reservoir. We've said this before. It's a reservoir. And reservoirs are fascinating sort of examples of life because a reservoir likes to be filled. And your soul likes to be filled, and it is you that makes the decision to find out which kind of faith, which source of faith is the one that fills your soul. Because when you fill your soul, then it's like filling the reservoir. And the great thing about filling a reservoir is it is a beautiful construction to see a full reservoir. You never want to see an empty one. And when you see a full reservoir, that is the ability for that reservoir then to let water flow out. And you can let your life, as it were, flow into other people. I want to conclude with one thing. We talk about human existence, and many of us are in the world of human existence. We go to work, we go to bed, we eat a meal or two, and that's our existence. We weren't designed only to exist, we were designed to live. And if we're going to live, the first thing you do is to look at what are the parts that I've got for the journey. And what I've got, and you have, the YOU, the you have, everybody has this mind, this body, and this soul. Some people call it spirit. Mind, body, and soul. We have these three. But here's the real blessing, the real advantage, the one that gives us a unique strength. And that is when instead of saying, I am a human being that exists, instead of saying I'm a human being that lives, I say, or more specifically, you are a human being that thrives. We're designed to thrive. We're designed to be that sort of inner prosperity. We think of prosperity as sort of, riches galore and, driving smart cars and living in big houses. Surely to goodness, the greatest gem, the greatest jewel that any of us can have, the greatest prosperity that any of us can have is a soul that is alive, that is really reaching into every part of our being, because the soul is like that. It's endemic. It flows. It flows freely throughout the body, and it is the most powerful source of energy and light. And even authority in each of our lives, that we can take authority over the talents and the skills that we have. That's the living journey. We want to hear back from you. It's Jeremy Wentworth-Stanley, as I say, is your voice. The contact information is jeremy at respectonomics.com. The website will point to other parts that we do. And we have Living Attentively, we have Living Compass, we have uh, this one, which is Living Journey. We recommend that we look at each part of our lives to see how can we bring all of the strengths that we inherently have to bring them to the top. Let me ask you a question to close with. When did you last refill your soul? When did you last refill your soul? Thank you for listening.